I'm sorry. Those are the most powerful words from a psychological perspective on how you can take any situation where somebody is triggered and be able to walk it back. I'm going to explain in this video why I'm sorry and taking accountability for your actions, even if you don't feel like you're right, can help to take anybody's triggers and put them to bed so that you can move forward with a relationship. My name is Brian, and I do spiritual practices to help understand the subconscious mind, what some of the programming is that we've had instilled in us since we were children, and to help try to change some of those things so that we can be better people. And in today's video, I'm going to share my experience with learning the power of saying I'm sorry, even though it violates our very tender egos. One of the most important things is it has a psychological effect when you apologize to somebody. Number one, it restores trust and connection with somebody. So if you decide that you want to say something, you want to speak your mind, you want to speak your truth, and that offends somebody, you can kind of feel it, you can kind of see it, and that person will start to distance themselves from you. If you just step forward, and it doesn't matter if you were right or you were wrong, you said the words that triggered somebody else to feel a particular way. So whatever you were saying, whether it was coming from a place of love, whether it was coming from a place of your own truth, or whatever your lens of reality is, you can walk it back and say, listen, I'm sorry that what I said triggered you. I wasn't intending to do that. 2, it reduces that negative emotion that's associated with you. Isn't it really funny how you can have thousands and thousands of positive experiences with somebody, but the moment they say something negative to you, you get this different view of this person. Like, how could they say those things to me? How could they disagree with me? That's our very fragile ego that gets triggered really easily. And so by that person, even if they meant it, even if they didn't mean it, we are forgiving in general. If they say to you, hey, I'm sorry, it came out wrong, or I didn't really mean it that way, or I was drunk and it came out, I'm really sorry. We're forgiving people, and we're a forgiving species. So it can restore those negative emotions and just say, yeah, it's water under the bridge. Let's move past it. 3, it demonstrates the ability for you to have accountability and show empathy for another person. So if you hurt somebody's feelings with the words that you said or an action that you took, whether you were in the right mind or not, by you owning that, it shows real responsibility and accountability. We are human. We make mistakes. Love forgives. The love for a friend, the love for a partner, they will forgive you as long as you are humble enough to continue to say, I'm sorry. It does show that you are understanding somebody else's feelings, not just having your ego be right all the time. Say, I'm sorry. Watch how it changes because it puts yourself in that person's shoes. I'm sorry I did these things. I know how it would hurt your feelings. If I was in your shoes and you did that to me, or you said that to me, I would be very hurt too. I see you, I understand you, and I am sorry. Next, from a psychological perspective, it really promotes healing, because if you say I am sorry to somebody, I apologize, and they truly know that you mean it, from a psychological perspective, their brain and their heart starts to heal, because again, we are very forgiving as people. As part of our experience, we're supposed to learn the range of emotions, and empathy is the biggest one. We all believe that we are the main character in our own superhero story, and we want to believe that everything is about us all the time. But the reality is that it's about all of us as a collective. And the more that we can show empathy and understand somebody else's position, the better we can come together And by you showing that you can be apologetic for something that triggers somebody else, that can have really great positive psychological effects on somebody else as well. And finally, it could encourage a behavior change in yourself and in others. If you really are sorry, if you really do understand that you hurt somebody's feelings by the words that you said or the actions that you did, you can then encourage them that you're going to be different. And if you want to be different, you will make efforts to be different. With them, if you identify that, hey, I appreciate that you are willing to hear me out and you're willing to accept my apology, that encourages them to be more apologetic as well. Now, if you apologize to somebody and they don't accept your apology, that is more about them than it is about you. They have some other emotions that they're working through, or the hurt that you did was so deep that they just can't recover. And if that's the case, you might have to live with that. I'll give you an example of something that happened in my life very recently and how the power of an apology really made an impact. Something so simple. I worked on this for years with my wife. I just wanted her to say, okay, if I did something that bothered you and it was something so small like, hey, I took the last paper towel and now the roll is empty. Now, I know that I was supposed to go get another paper towel roll and put it onto the holder, but instead, when my wife woke up, she saw this empty paper towel holder and was like, yo, what's up? Why did you take the last paper towel? And I was like, I'm really sorry. Let me go and get it now. And it was dead and over with right then and there. On the contrary, I had a phone call scheduled. We sent out a meeting invitation. They had the link. I had the link. It was set for a period of time and they didn't show up. They didn't show up for 5 minutes. I waited. And then I finally sent them a message. They said, you never sent me the link. And I was like, you signed up and it's in your email. There's no way. That's not how the program works. And I just sent the link anyways. Here, I'll send it to you and put it in there. And that way we can get started. And it took this person 5 minutes to come into the meeting. And then for the first 5 minutes of the meeting, they wanted to tell me how I didn't set it up properly. And I said, look, I've been using the same program for 5 years. I understand how it works. And it was in your email. I guarantee if you go check your email, the link is in there. And the person was like, I know it doesn't work that way. They were late and they continued to blame somebody else for the problems. We have to take accountability for our own actions. If that person had said, hey, sorry, I lost the link, or hey, sorry, I didn't know, hey, sorry, I'm late, hey, sorry, any of these things, I would have been like, hey, no problem. But because that person continued to push and push how it was ultimately somebody else's fault, in particular, it was my fault that this didn't work, then it put me into a position where I was said, this person can't be trusted and this person can't be counted on. And it continued to cascade over a period of weeks where during that phone call, because the first part was really rough, that person was feeling my negative energy about them being late and not taking accountability for their actions. So they thought that I was gaslighting them and trying to control them, whereas it wasn't that at all. I was feeling rushed and feeling like this person didn't value the time or the opportunity that we were talking about, and they weren't that serious. So it made it seem like it was a complete and utter waste of time. Whereas the other person said, you were trying to force me to do this. You were saying this happened. You said this, you said that, without taking accountability for their own actions. And when somebody doesn't take accountability for their own actions, I know they have healing to do, which is why I wanted to make this video about the power of an apology, because if anybody is triggering anybody else, you have to recognize that you played a part in that role. You did something to make that person feel triggered, whether you're the person who did the triggering or you got triggered. It's really important for you to say, hey, this is how I saw it from my perspective. I'm sorry I did these things, and I'm hoping that you will do the same. Now, again, if this person doesn't accept your apology and they want to continue to laugh it off, saying, well, whatever, you should just lighten up or you should just forget about it, that's them not taking responsibility for their own actions. And then they do have some healing work to do, because the healed person is empathetic, and the healed person wants to build bridges, not burn bridges. What that taught me is that no matter what, if I think I'm being direct and somebody has triggered me, it's going to come across with negative energy. And so I just need to approach things with a softer approach in general, because most people are hurt, most people are injured. And a lot of that comes down to how they were raised and some of the experiences they've had throughout life that have made them think that what I'm saying is that experience, which is not true. Whatever you're saying to them that triggered them is more about them and the fact that they have to work through these old experiences, because how could you possibly know what you're saying is a trigger point for somebody if they've never established those rules and boundaries with you, especially with somebody new? So again, the power of an apology is so important. If you can learn to let go of your ego and embrace empathy and still be authentic, then you can use the words saying, I'm sorry, to be able to derail anybody's fall from grace that they have based on how you triggered them or how they have triggered you. They do have to accept your apology in order for everybody to move on. And that's an even tougher thing, and for another conversation. If you'd like to learn more on how to manage your emotions and how to use spirituality, guided meditations, sound healing, and affirmations to be the best person that you can, please, by all means, give me a follow. I'll put a link down in the video description so that you can join my community at school.com, where we'll teach you the codes on how to heal so that you can be the example. Instead of feeling triggered and angry, now you can go forward with love and show people how it's done and make the world a better place. Thanks so much for listening today.